Hey everybody, we just picked up our new Warrior V208. You know what? This year we made a few changes. First thing we did is we went to an aluminum trailer to try the aluminum trailer. This is an easy loader trailer. Definitely one of the best built trailers on the market. We've had the steps on here for the last couple years, and I'll tell you, it really makes it a lot easier, young or old, getting in and out of the boat. And again, that's one of them kind of things where, you're always launching at different types of landings, so the easier that you can access the boat, getting in and out of it, the better it's going to be for the boat and for yourself. Hey, the other part that we changed is that instead of going with a Minn Kota trolling motor, we went with the new Garmin Kraken. And I'll tell you what, all the reviews that I've read on this trolling motor have been amazing. Talking to a lot of different people on different forums is to tell you the Kraken is definitely an awesome trolling motor. This one, what I did too is I put my live scope transducer right inside the trolling motor itself. I've got the 34 mounted on here, and it's nice because that transducer cable runs all the way up the shaft of the trolling motor, so I don't have to worry about the cable anymore. Got the rails up front here, and of course just running some rams on the front, but we're actually running in the back. We're running tracks, and we're going to be running mostly all Cisco rod holders on here. We're going to do some salmon fishing. I love to do some muskie trolling. I just want a rod holder that's got a little bit more stout to it, a little heavier duty. We're going to be doing a lot more trolling stuff this year, so that works out really good. Went with the high profile tires instead of the sporty look. They still look amazing, but I'll tell you something. I'm sick of worrying about hitting the side of the curves with them other tires and getting flat tires, so we went with that. And of course, the ratchet straps in the back. Hey, the last 6 boats we had, I put on the trim tabs. I don't care what kind of boat you're running. Trim tabs are just the way to go. And it's nice because, sometimes you got some bigger people on one side of the boat, it'll balance that out. But the big part is that there's just some days where you need to make long runs, and you're traveling across, you're tacking the waves to the side, where you can lift one side of the boat up and drop the other side down, just get a better ride and a lot drier ride. Went back with the Mercury 300 instead of the 350. Just feel that the 300 is more fuel efficient. Got the 15 horse EFI Pro Kicker, and yeah, she's looking pretty good. So you guys, let's jump up inside and let me show you. Okay, this is the bow of the Warrior here. Got Garmin running up front here. All the units are tied in together. I got 2 more units I'm going to be putting in here. So definitely plenty of electronics. Right here is the cooler, right? So I put all my drinks, everything right in there. And on this side is a bait well, and I hardly ever use the bait well right here. But what I do with this well here is basically I use it for storage. So I put all my drift socks in there. A lot of times I'll put my church planer boards in there. And then up front here on this side, I put my bump board. I always carry at least an anchor. And then what I'll do is I'll throw some life cushions up front there and store them when I'm not using them. On the port side, what I do is I'll store a lot of my tackle boxes up in here. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of the boat here. Let's jump to the back. So this is the main rod storage right here. And a lot of people will say, well, why isn't there tubes in here? Well, I'll tell you what, I don't like the tubes in my rod storage because I keep all my rods in sleeves. And most boats only have like 8 or 9 different tubes in them, where here I can stack if I want. I can get at least a dozen rods in there. So the way I lay everything out is that all my trolling rods, when it comes to, trolling, planer board trolling, all them rods basically go in here. Some of my flatline trolling rods will go in here. So basically I'll have 9, 10, 12 trolling rods in this compartment here. The other part I got to show you guys, this has been huge over the last couple of years. This is where the batteries are at right here. What we're running is all lithium batteries, cuts down on that weight. I can run this thing solid all day in some pretty nasty stuff, and you never wear down the power. That's the great part about having the Dakota lithiums. I'm going to thank our friends over there. It's just amazing how small the batteries are and how light they are. I'm so used to these big Group 31 batteries, and they're hard to get in there, and they're definitely, if you got to take them out, they're hard to get out. All that weight too. This is just, it changed things so drastically. I've got some more electronics to go on here. I got another electronics to go on my rail right there. This is the other cool part about the new Kraken, is that the remote is, I have a remote for it, but also the pedal is wireless, Bluetooth, just runs off a couple AA batteries. Main motor, kicker motor, gotta have a stereo, jamming some tunes, Bluetooth there, and then all your gauges there. It's got an automatic bilge pump in it, got a manual bilge pump in it, so you got dual bilge pumps. Of course, you got great aeration pumps in there, glove box. Now, underneath my console, this is where I'll store a lot more of my tackle boxes up here. On this side is where I store all my life jackets here. Here's my wash down hose for the back. And here's my charger, onboard charger in there, Minn Kota for the lithiums. So I got 4 different places I can put rods if I want. A lot of times I'll use one of these for tackle boxes too. And again, like the storage never ends. So here's usually where I put my super long rods, either my 12 or 14 foot rods that I'll use my cane poles. I'll put them out down the sides there, or some big lead core rods. Then what I do is I put my rigging rods over here. Now these are all the rods that I use that are typically anywhere from 7 to 8.5 foot for rigging. You know, pulling 3-ways, pulling flies, all that kind of stuff. All that goes there. And then on this side here, what I do is these are all my jigging rods. I'll put all my jigging rods up here. I usually will have at least anywhere from 9 to a dozen jigging rods here ready to go. And then down here on this side, again, it's just storage after storage after storage. More rods. Like these are all my super braid rods that I'll put here for pitching, you know, shiver minnows, pitching, you know, V rods, all that kind of stuff, all down the side here. Again, mostly all 7 to 8 foot rods going there. We're running Wave Pros for suspension seats on here, which is no doubt the way to go. They're light. The suspension that you get off a Wave Pro is like, the ride you get is like no other. So that works out really good too. So jump seats on the 208, which is very cool. This opens up my whole back right here. So I have plenty of room for customers, and yet they got a great ride in the back here. Now check this out. Here's another really cool thing. Look at this. Talk about tackle. More on both sides, more tackle, you know. So again, sometimes I forget where all the stuff is because there's so much room in this boat, and that's no kidding. It's purely incredible. So more tackle boxes here on the other side. Big live well, lights in the live well, courtesy lights in the boat. And in the back here, what we have going here is, check this out, you guys. So I've got 2 batteries in the back right here. And these are basically to run all my electronics and a starting battery. So I have plenty of battery power. Another onboard charger back there. Of course, we've got the washdown pump. That I love for sure, because you get any blood or anything laying around, you know, just hook up the hose, spray everything down, and rock and roll. I missed one thing. Warrior started putting these in a couple years ago. And again, it's great for guys that are getting a little bit older, or somebody's not in as good a health, where you got that step down here again. Here's your drink holders in here. Another storage compartment in there. Hey everybody, you know what? I hope you guys love this new V208 as much as I do. If you guys are looking for a new boat, make sure you go to warriorboats.com and check out all the great models that they have. Thanks for joining us.